2018 Peugeot 308 Hatchback Review. The good points of Peugeot 308 Hatchback. Good-looking modern hatch. Refreshingly simple interior. Very practical. Excellent running costs. The bad points of Peugeot 308 Hatchback. Intense competition. Lack of buttons in cabin. No hybrid or electric version. Could be bigger within the back. If you're hunting for a family hatchback, then a Peugeot 308 has to be on your list. This talented all-rounder might be more than a match with the GOAT to various Ford Focus, Vauxhall Astra and Volkswagen Golf. This will be the second generation 308 after Peugeot ditched its means of increasing the third volume of its model names by one once the model was replaced. From now on, each new Peugeot can easily with 08. There's no particular big reasons why you should buy this Peugeot, rather quite a few smaller reasons that total a compelling case for your 308 when your next new car. As any family knows, you would like great practicality, low running costs and also a real affordable price tag. The 308 is claimed to offer the biggest boot in the class, therefore it may stow now more luggage than its rivals. Watch Peugeot 308 GT vs Hyundai i30N vs VW Golf GTI. Mild Peugeot 308 refresh for 2017. Compare the pre and post facelift versions with the 308 and you'll be hard-pressed to see the difference, reflecting the typical success in the car's original design. Pour over it in depth and you'll spot the grille's more upright and it's flanked by tweaked headlights that contain LED daytimer running lights on all models. There are larger grilles from the lower bumper to boost engine cooling too. Inside, the multimedia touchscreen may be tweaked to really make it more responsive. As you move, the onboard technology has been upgraded, notably the adaptive cruise control featuring a braking function. Low running costs. Running pricing is kept low because of frugal and low-emission diesel and petrol engines, together with the 1.2-litre petrol and 1.6-litre diesel particularly kind to wallets. That choice of updates in 2017 also brought a bit more refined 1.5-litre Blue Eddy 130 diesel plus an 8-speed automatic gearbox designed for the 2.0-litre Blue Eddy 180 diesel, as both versions aimed at lowering costs. The range includes 5 trim levels: Active, Allure, GT line replacing the quicker Feel line, GT and T. The entry-level spec incorporates lots of tech including sat-nav, parking sensors and air conditioning. Peugeot 308 GT is impressive. The French manufacturer is back operational when it comes to hot hatches. Not only would be the smaller 208 GT well-regarded steer, Grey 308 GT impresses too. It was given a tweak in 2017, finding a new bonnet, grille and headlights, though the mechanicals remain unchanged. Which is not any bad thing. It includes a punchy 272 horsepower engine. The 250 horsepower version initially sold alongside that it was dropped in 2017, together with better brakes plus a mechanical limit slip differential that can help meter out that power hike. Externally, the 308 GT gains advantage from subtle styling cues instead of an outlandish bodykit plus a touring car spec spoiler, in order to enjoy everything that performance using a grown-up image. High-touch gadgets. The 308 also carries a minimalist interior with not many buttons. Instead, a central 9.7-inch touchscreen accesses the many car's major functions, for example climate control, sat-nav, and audio, leaving a lot cleaner and uncluttered central dash. Updates in 2017 brought standard smartphone connectivity with Android Auto, Apple CarPlay and MirrorLink, together with improvements rolling around in its responsiveness. Wide variety of petrol and diesel engines from which to choose. No hybrid or electric versions with improved efficiency. Hot T270 version provides an abundance of thrills. There's so much choice here, supplying you with don't require a hybrid or electric car with 4 petrol and 5 diesel engines, between 110 horsepower to 272 horsepower. Mainstream petrol engines. There are two power options within the mainstream range, and they are centered around Peugeot's fabulous 1.2-litre, 3-cylinder PureTech motor. It's our favorite triples within the market on account of impressive refinement and also a slightly larger displacement. Many 3-cylinder units are 1.0-litre, so that it is more responsive at low revs. The entry-level PureTech 110 version has 110 horsepower, 205 Nm of torque plus a manual gearbox, producing 11.1 seconds 062 miles per hour along with a top speed of 117 miles per hour. It works well inside the 208 but feels a little stretched inside larger 308, although offers almost diesel-like running costs for low-mileage motorists. Better would be the PureTech 130 version, with 131 horsepower and 230 Nm of torque to get a 9.1 second 062 miles per hour time. You can also select a mechanical gearbox, even though this is about half an additional slower on the benchmark sprint. Both top out at about 125 miles per hour. There's more performance while using 1.6-litre THP 205 petrol with 205 horsepower along with a manual gearbox. With 285 Nm of torque on tap, it hits 062 miles per hour in 7.5 seconds and tops out at 146 miles per hour. It feels yowed like these figures suggest, responding quickly and smoothly, yet quiet enough when driving normally. Wide variety of frugal diesel engines. There's more choice here largely because in 2017 Peugeot introduced single 5-litre Blue Eddy 130 engine that could eventually replace the 1.6-litre motor. For now they're discounted alongside one another. The only performance figure available up to now is torque minus 300 Nm, which can be exactly the same because the marginally larger version. We can explain how it feels very flexible and is really a lot less noise versus the older engine, and must prove extremely popular indeed. Bottom on this range would be the 1.6-litre 99 horsepower Blue Eddy 100, which packs 254 Nm of torque and accelerates the slowest of most options here, taking 11.3 seconds for getting from 062 miles per hour and maxing out at 116 miles per hour. The puncher 1.6-litre Blue Eddy 120 with 120 horsepower seems a greater bet, which has a burlier 300 Nm of torque and faster 062 miles per hour time, 9.7 seconds with the manual and 9.5 to the auto, using a 122 miles per hour top speed for both. There's either Blue Eddy 150 horsepower or Blue Eddy 181 horsepower through the top 2.0-litre engine, with torque swelling to 370 Nm and 400 Nm, respectively. The lower powered output may be had which has a manual or automatic gearbox, whilst the 180 version is auto only. Although the manual Blue Eddy 150's 132 miles per hour top speed is 1 mile per hour higher compared to the automatic, Rogue's is quicker from 062 miles per hour at 8.6 seconds on the manual's 8.9 seconds. The automatic only Blue Eddy 180 is only marginally quicker, again having a 137 miles per hour top speed as well as an 8.4 second 062 miles per hour time. Sporty 308 to 270 by Peugeot Sport. Topping the range may be the 272 horsepower to 270 by Peugeot Sport, which works on the more powerful version in the same 1.6-litre THP engine found from the THP 205. Peak torque of 330 Nm is accessible from 1,900 revolutions per minute, allowing this 308 to sprint from 062 miles per hour in a mere 6.0 seconds, progressing on to a top speed of 155 miles per hour. But his throttle response could be sharpened further by pressing the sport button at the gear lever. GT versions have this feature too, however the effect is less noticeable. Peugeot 308 gearboxes. No surprise to find the 308s provided with both manual and automatic gearboxes. The lowest-powered petrol and diesel engines get yourself a 5-speed manual. As you move, the rest in the range gains a supplementary cog. It's an uncomplicated thing to make use of, but doesn't set any benchmarks when it comes to precision or enjoyment. The shift action is somewhat notchy, plus the lever's movement into each gear can feel a tad vague, but it really certainly does the position. A 6-speed automatic gearbox is accessible on middling power engines, and again, it changes gears adequately but isn't especially dynamic. An 8-speeder, introduced in 2017, is more preferable, but only entirely on the top-powered diesel. Discontinued Peugeot 308 engines. The 1.6-litre THP petrol engine was in the past sold in 125 horsepower and 155 horsepower guises. The more efficient petrol is nippy out partying, easily capable to cruise on motorways, and keeps up with all the faster-moving traffic effortlessly. On more twisty back roads we had to change gear with greater regularity to keep the engine to use torque power band, though. A 1.6-litre ready diesel with 115 horsepower had also been sold. This doesn't offer lots of punch low down from the rev range, but builds quickly to offer good overtaking ability and high-speed cruising. Peugeot also initially offered the 308 with 250 horsepower, but this version was dropped as a way to focus on the more lucrative 272 horsepower car from 2017. Comfortable yet assured handling. Composed with sharp steering. It is quite rewarding to operate a vehicle. Another part of significant improvement, compared for the previous generation, is just how the 308 handles. Helping this is the 140 kilograms losing weight, roughly something like 2 passengers, as well as the car is now more agile consequently. This agility is accentuated because of the small tire, which requires less turning action to acquire the car to vary direction. The suspension can be impressive, providing a compliant ride and smoothing out bumpy surfaces and not using a lot of roll when cornering. It certainly is a visible improvement in the previous generation 308, though if you need a car that may be sharper to operate a vehicle and don't mind a harder ride, there are many cars which could deliver that. What also impressed was hard braking while changing into a corner, which would not upset the automobile, and we always felt significantly in control. Impressively agile 308. For the supreme in Peugeot 308 handling prowess, you'll want the full-fat 270 by Peugeot Sport. This car features larger brakes plus a mechanical differential that helps get quite as much of that power on the asphalt as is possible. It's this that comes to define what sort of 308 handles. You pitch the leading end into a large part using the fast, reactive steering along with the tire's grip hard, allowing the auto to hold its line with assurance. The feeling throughout the wheel isn't entirely natural, since the diff has a tendency to tug both your hands and also the nose and the car nearly everywhere under power, but the aggressive, mechanical sensations are part in the experience. Small wheel and high-set dials won't fascinate all. Clutter-free cabin due to touchscreen functionality. Whether you enjoy it or otherwise not, it's a minimum of a different approach. Two things strike you immediately whenever you nestle into the 308's driver's seat: the small tire and minimalist dash layout. It feels strange to begin with, but we discover it not merely refreshingly different, however it helps you to take pleasure in the driving experience, every one of them, all for that direct steering. The touchscreen is easy to work with, if you're little slow to react on earlier cars, even though we never struggled to get the function aircon, sat-nav, audio I was after. Having some physical buttons and knobs makes it easier. Similarly, the unusual driving position won't suit everyone. A number of people find it off-putting looking above the wheel to find out the speedo and anti-clockwise sweeping rev counter. Updates in 2017 brought a responsive screen, which supports to cut down the quantity of frustrating jabs and missed button pushes. We hoped the facelifted the 308s probably have adopted the 3008's slightly increased volume of physical switches. Nevertheless, the majority in the controls remain virtual. uplifted to cabin. The main addition to the sportiest 308 is yards of red stitching. It's within the seats, the doorway cards, the gear shift gate plus the floor mats. It's even stitched in the rubber about the dashboard. Switching to sport mode makes all the instrument panel and dash elements go red, and in addition unlocks the ability to show power, turbocharger boost and torque output in real time. There's a force meter too, so we're able to see how much grip the auto is generating while cornering quickly. Good balance of comfort and handling. Pliant suspension takes up ruts and bumps. Firmer edge to grip but nevertheless comfy. We were impressed with the Peugeot 308 regarding comfort, whether stuck within a traffic jam or tackling a non-stop 3-hour drive to your airport. Front seats feature manual adjustment that could be the option of electrically powered control, plus the steering wheel is adjustable for both rake and reach, to ensure enabled us to discover a comfortable position easily. The unusually small diameter tire and position does feel odd initially, nevertheless, you quickly enjoy it, and also the direct feel and quick response is quite enjoyable. The centrally mounted screen within the dash is usually angled to your driver, turning it into even easier to watch. Also, considering that the touch screen controls your vehicle's central functions, there are hardly any buttons visible, so no clutter to tire your area as you search for your control you might be after. Peugeot also has provided a terrific compromise between ride comfort and handling. Over rough city roads, the suspension does a superb job of absorbing the dips and bumps. Simply the very large potholes deliver a difficult knock for the car. Out on twisty roads, enthusiastic cornering is the vehicle turning with alacrity and holding a comfortable line by having a bend, even at speed. Firm active version. A few differences to note regarding comfort here. Active features lowered suspension and larger wheels versus the mainstream 308, nevertheless it still rides well, leaning more towards cornering performance than outright comfort. Whether you choose petrol or diesel power, a synthesized engine noise is played from the speakers inside car after you press the game button. It's quite loud and sounds odd inside the diesel version. The 308 follows Peugeot's usual trim level hierarchy with 6 distinct trim levels. Standard Peugeot 308 hatchback equipment. Access. Intra-level specification is included with LED day running lights and tail lamps, 15-inch steel wheels, air conditioning, electric front windows, remote control central locking, cruise control with speed limiter, DAB radio, Bluetooth and USB connectivity. Peugeot 308 active. Next strung the 308 ladder adds 16-inch quartz alloy wheels, dual-zone climate control, rear parking sensors, visibility pack with automatic lights and wipers, along with an auto-dimming rear view mirror, Napa leather covering for that steering wheel and knob, 9.7-inch multimedia touchscreen with sat-nav, driver's seat lumbar adjustment. Peugeot 308 Allure, mid-range Allure ramps in the kit roster, even more with 17-inch Rubis alloy wheels, 16 inches around the 1.6 Blue Eddy 120. Full LED headlamps with front fog lamps. Parking sensors back and front. Electrically folding door mirrors. Electronic parking brake. Peugeot 308 GT line. First in the sport-themed 308 SADs. 18-inch diamond alloy wheels. Twin exhaust pipes. Darkened rear privacy glass. Scrolling front indicators. LED front fog lamps. A reversing camera. Red stitching to the interior. Peugeot 308 GT. More power and equipment here. Larger air intakes inside the front bumper. Lowered ride height 7mm at leading, 10mm in the rear. Driver sport pack. Keyless entry and initiate. Driver assistance pack with adaptive cruise control, autonomous emergency braking. Acted by Peugeot Sport. The flagship with the 308 change adds on the GT's specification with ACTA-specific body kits with red accents. Ride height lowered by 11mm at all times. 19-inch carbon alloy wheels. Torsen limited slip differential. Cruise control. To specific bucket seats. Aluminium look pedals and door sills. Optional Peugeot 308 hatchback extras. There's the normal mix here of metallic paint and different alloy wheel sizes and designs to select from. Also, based on which trim you decide on, there may be the option to select certain extras, for instance a panoramic sunroof, reversing camera and parking sensors. Subscribe what options we chose on our long-term 308 full 5-star Euro NCAP crash test rating. Lots of passive and active safety systems. Autonomous safety kit and driver assistance pack. Buyers ought to be reassured about Peugeot 308 safety levels due to an extensive selection of both passive and active systems which helped the automobile to achieve the full 5-star rating during its round of tests with Euro NCAP. There could be the usual comprehensive variety of airbags including driver, passenger and side ones, plus systems designed to assist avoid an accident from the first place, for example anti-lock brakes, system to increase braking effort and effectiveness, and electronic stability control to aid prevent the vehicle going to a skid. From 2017 Peugeot made its claw effect rear lights standard equipment, that happen to be always on much like the daytime running lights at leading, adding style and causing you to be more visible too. A driver assistance pack can be offered with adaptive cruise control, emergency collision alert and braking mechanism, blind spot monitoring, traffic sign recognition along with a 180-degree reversing camera. The adaptive cruise control function also gained a braking feature as part from the 2017 overhaul. The blind spot monitoring is beneficial warning whenever a car is alongside, but even when it isn't visible as part of your wing mirror. The collision alert and braking mechanism work together to detect whether a car or truck in front is way too close, and from the first instance offers an audible and visual warning. That's the alert bit towards the driver to get started on to brake. If there is not any braking or you cannot in a front, also a collision is imminent, next the system applies the brakes automatically. For a hatchback it carries a big boot. Rear passenger room is adequate. Lots of storage space inside cabin. Practicality is an area in which the Peugeot 308 really impresses, using a big boot and a good amount of interior storage, including a cooled glove box and enormous store bins that may take a single 5-litre water bottle. The central console features a sliding cover to disclose a cup holder that is usually swiveled out from the way in order to stash wallets and phones. It sounds okay on paper, truly it's poorly fitted and awkward to acquire at. Plus we have a USB and aux connection that has a small shelf directly underneath the centrally mounted touchscreen that's well suited for iPods and MP3 players. The rear seats also boast very clear ISOFIX attachment points, so it must be straightforward to match 2 compatible child seats from the back. There's nothing unusual to make note of about the 308's dimensions. It slots comfortably into your family hatchback market alongside similar-sized rivals such as Ford Focus and Vauxhall Astra. The large boot measures 470 litres, significantly larger versus the Ford Focus along with the VW Golf. Plus, the 6,040 spilt rear seats might be folded by pressing a control button to boost luggage space just to over 1,300 litres.